And Google will win the AI arms race. This is according to a new study published by Deepwater Asset Management today. The company tested ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and Claude with the same 40 questions to determine who would give the most accurate answers. Joining us now with more, Gene Munster, Deepwater Asset Management Managing Partner. I just want to read one quote because it's exactly what I thought. What's most important for the future is the ability to allow third parties to create unique, deep, and conversational experiences that deliver insights beyond search. That doesn't exist today. And that's what I've seen. It's like, thank you, but I could have Googled this and put it all together, Googled it a couple of different places, gone to the sources, stuck them together, hodgepodge, and I get, you're giving me no insight, no analysis, you're not distilling anything. Are any of them any good at this point, Gene? They're not impressive to me at this point.
Well, I think they definitely do an important role in terms of getting to the answer more quickly, but I do think we're in this kind of still early stage. If you kind of a scale of 1 to 100, we're probably in the teens in terms of their ability to really deliver something that's unique. And so I want to break down the topic into two pieces. Number one, you led with our belief that Google is going to win at search, and that is a powerful statement given some of the concerns that investors have about the $185 billion in revenue that they're going to do this year in search, and that potentially getting displaced by other generative AI search products. OpenAI is going to come out with a chatbot this year. But our findings are that the intelligence of these models, even though it's call it 15 on a scale of 100 right now, the intelligence is comparable. And why that's so important for Google investors is that if it's comparable to OpenAI and Grok and Claude, that means that those 4 billion daily active search users really aren't going to be motivated to make that switch. And so I kind of think about this topic in two pieces. Google's search franchise is intact. No need to worry. Second is, what does that mean for if the search kind of opportunity and that commerce opportunity gets taken off the table, what does it mean for the other models? And ultimately, as you said, is that AI chatbots still need to make a leap forward from what they're doing today, giving simple answers to really to the point where you're getting that, as you described it, this kind of deep conversation. And why is a deep conversation important is because the true unlock with chatbots is going to be getting to an insight that you wouldn't get from a single answer. And so I think that chapter one going well for Google and will continue because it's smart, comparable to the others. Chapter two is still wide open for these generative bots to add much more value than we're getting today.
So that, I was wondering how you could make a determination of who is going to win when we don't know who's going to be able to get to that next step that you just mentioned. But you think because they're already entrenched with all the search users that
two different
even if they're comparable to the others because of their existing position, that makes them the eventual winner. Is that how you're thinking of it?
We're thinking about, there's two pieces to the topic. You know, on the search side, that's correct, is that since Gemini is comparable by our scoring, it's within 4%. All of the models are basically comparable intelligence. And since it's comparable, there's no real motivation. It's not 10x better for this habitual search behavior that we have around Google to change. And so that search piece is in a good place. But then there's another part of the conversation that emerged in our testing, which is that what's happening in search and will continue to be generative search in the future really isn't the true unlock related to a chatbot. And that true unlock still hasn't happened. And I think that that's the opportunity for all four of them, is to build a model that just has that conversation piece that still doesn't exist today.
Gene, but can you just break it down for other functionality, or did you not look at other functionality?
We did. We basically, as I mentioned, their intelligence are comparable.
No, but I just say, so I use this stuff all the time. I would tell you if I was going to write something, and I don't do this, we actually don't do this professionally, but if you're going to write something or play with writing it, I would use Anthropic. I would use Claude, right? It seems more human. The sort of wordsmithing of it all seems a little bit more, there's sort of something, it feels something.
Not for your column, you're not doing
No, I'm just saying if
you haven't done this yet, have you?
No, I'm saying if you were going to try to write something or use it to write something,
don't do that.
Anthropic, to
I'll
me,
be able to tell.
I would probably use Anthropic or maybe ChatGPT. I would actually, Gemini would be the third on my list. If I was stack rank them, if you will.
Stack rank.
If you wanted to use numbers or to create charts or to create tables, you might actually use, I think you'd use ChatGPT probably first of all those things.
Probably.
So we did look at that in terms of what they're good at. And so as I mentioned, their broader intelligence is similar, but like you said, each model does better. For example, Google does best at commerce. And then in the category, we had a category of future projections, and that tended to be GPT, and Grok did well with that. Claude, as you said, does well with more of the kind of those writing types of features. And so each model does have a strength. Grok is the only one with what we describe as a true personality. It doesn't give the bullet point responses. It's not scientific. So just if that's more of your personality, you're going to gravitate more towards Grok. But they do have individual strengths. Their broader intelligence is relatively comparable.
It's okay. Well, I just want to know, when, and really if it makes that next leap, because so the chips are fast, they're really fast, but when does it make that, to sentience of some kind or to insight? I mean, we're all going to hear there's going to be a sound all of a sudden when we get, because that's going to be not a singularity necessarily. That's going to be a whole new thing that well, how long? Ever?
Well,
then we got to go.
How long is that going to take to get there? The way we think about it is it's going to come. It's probably by the end of the decade. Don't use Elon as a good benchmark in terms of time. He says that we're like within a year or two, so it's probably 5-6 years, but it's going to happen. And Joe, to your point too, everything we're talking is generative. When you get to general intelligence, it's a step function. It's a step function improvement.
It's quantum.
In what you can
That'd be quantum. Quantum. And we sort of rushed it because, AI has been around. I mean, computer-aided design, and that was all sort of it. People said that Waze was an AI program. And until you get to that next thing where, and I haven't seen it yet. I read this. It's like, oh, great.
It's not there.
You Googled a bunch of crap and you stuck it all together. That's not that impressive. Thanks, Gene.
Thank you.